Morning, Bill here with the Metals Minute. Today is Friday, April 8th, 2022. Well, since our weekly update on Wednesday, all the metals this morning are higher. And that's in spite of a tremendous paper selling smashdown in silver. Even though silver was knocked just a little bit lower this morning with all the massive selling, it's still higher than it was on Wednesday, and all four of the metals appear to be going up this morning. Well, let's talk about why is that? What's happening? Well, different things are happening in different parts of the world depending on what emphasis they put on precious metals. For example, the dollar index, the DXY, the Dixie as they call it, it was up to 100, which is higher than it's been in a while. But that is a measurement compared mostly to the euro. And the euro is having some issues, and people that live in Europe, unfortunately, pensioners and those on a fixed income, it is not going well for them right now with the increased costs of food and energy. The purchasing power has just plummeted, and it's a human crisis. And let me just say, sometimes not having precious metals can lead to a human crisis. Now, while the dollar is soaring against currencies like the euro, it's actually not doing well compared to currencies that are more closely related to precious metals, such as the Chinese Yuan or the Russian Ruble. Now, I'm not making political points here, and I'm not trying to make geopolitical points about who's right and who's wrong on the war front. I believe there's lots of misinformation on every side. My point in mentioning those currencies is to say they have linked them somewhat to gold, and the word on the street this morning is that gold contracts on the SGE over in Asia are offering more for gold than what's at the LME, and that's caused the Chinese miners to go up rather significantly because the gold market is changing. It's moving more towards physical settlement, physical price. And that part of the world it seems to be trying to wrench the pricing of gold and silver away from the paper markets in London and on Wall Street. So we've got this big conflict going on, but meanwhile the Chinese yuan is strengthened against the dollar, and the Russian ruble is now worth more than it was against the dollar than before the sanctions. And there's talk now that they may have to lower interest rates to keep their currency from strengthening further. So it's like the opposite problem of most every currency in the world. And one reason why is they have connected that to gold. Now let's talk about the recession here in the United States. It's starting to heat up. We have housing mortgage business is beginning to slow down with a slight rise in interest rates, albeit they're still negative in a real sense. But they're slightly higher, and that's beginning to put pressure on the real estate market and on the lending markets. Automobile dealers, we've seen prices begin to come down. We've seen inventories begin to build up a little bit, and that sector seems to be slowing down. And so one of the things that's part of stagflation and that we've been watching for is recession. We have the inflation part. Now the recession part is beginning to come into play. And as a reminder, that environment is historically and traditionally a boon for gold and silver prices over time. There's going to be daily fluctuations, but in an environment like we're in, the next 3 to 4 years we can see significant moves in gold and silver prices. And not just for pure speculation or gain, but that's to help protect our purchasing power. We don't want to be like some are experiencing around the world, and they get their income all set up and then inflation just wipes out their purchasing power. By owning physical precious metals, it helps protect you and your family from this massive amount of government spending that's going on. And there's reports coming out that the economy began to implode as early as 5 months before the COVID-19 pandemic, before the first person was death was acknowledged. 5 months before that, there was evidence with the massive repo issue on Wall Street and the buying of those securities and rehypothecating them. That was evidence of a massive breakdown. So whatever we believe about the pandemic or whatnot, things are starting to happen more rapidly, and it's just almost mandatory that you have a position in precious metals just to protect yourself. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. God bless you and yours, and Lord willing, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.